What if the world still held places untouched by time, where mountains float in the mist, echoes carry forgotten voices, and ancient spirits guard every hidden path? Tucked away in the remote corners of China, beyond the reach of modern life, lie lands so surreal, they feel like they belong to another realm. From forests shrouded in eternal fog to stone pillars that defy gravity, these places whisper stories that science struggles to explain and legend refuses to forget. This isn't fiction. These are the most mysterious places you've never heard of, and they are very real. Join us on a journey through the unknown. Gaoyiling is not merely a geological marvel. It is a place where the ancient language of the earth is written in stone, a living testament to time, patience, and raw natural power. Located in the heart of China's Danxia landform region, this surreal landscape of jagged ridges, crimson cliffs, and narrow stone blades has been sculpted over millions of years through the gradual erosion of sandstone and the ceaseless push and pull of wind, water, and time. The region's iconic blade-like formations, some rising nearly 1,640 feet above sea level, appear as if nature herself used a chisel of fire to carve the earth. These sharp red spines stretch endlessly across the horizon, forming undulating waves of rock that glow and shift in color, depending on the time of day. At dawn, the cliffs blush in pale rose. By noon, they blaze in shades of scarlet and burnt orange, and as dusk settles, the land seems to bleed gold beneath the sinking sun. It's a landscape in constant visual transformation, a moving canvas painted by light. But Gaoyiling is more than geological spectacle. It is a place steeped in myth, mystery, and spiritual resonance. According to local legend, the dramatic ridges are the fossilized remains of a heavenly dragon that descended from the skies to rest in these valleys. Tired from its journey across the heavens, the dragon lay down and slowly turned to stone, its glowing scales forming the jagged ridges, and its breath crystallizing into the wind that still howls through the cliffs. Even today, the local people speak in hushed voices of the Long Guang, or dragon light, a mysterious, ethereal ribbon of light said to glide silently across the peaks in the early hours of the morning. Appearing rarely and only to those considered pure of heart, this ghostly phenomenon has been reported by monks, shepherds, and early rising hikers alike. Some say it's a natural reflection of the atmosphere. Others insist it's the spirit of the sleeping dragon, watching over the land it once protected. Gaoyiling's narrow hiking paths, cut precariously along steep ridgelines, attract adventurers seeking not only physical challenge, but also spiritual awakening. Mount Fanjing, high in the heart of Guizhou province, where the mists curl like ancient scrolls and the forests whisper tales older than memory, rises Mount Fanjing, a sacred and surreal world perched between the heavens and the earth. At 8,400 feet above sea level, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is more than just a mountain. It is a spiritual beacon, a biological sanctuary, and one of China's most breathtaking and mysterious landscapes. Often shrouded in drifting clouds and silent fog, Mount Fanjing, Fanjingshan, reveals itself slowly, like a hidden realm resisting the modern world's reach. Its surreal beauty is shaped by towering limestone spires, knife-edged cliffs, and lush subtropical forests that have remained largely untouched for millennia. The mountain's isolation has made it a cradle of biodiversity. It is home to thousands of rare species, many of which exist nowhere else on Earth. Among them is the elusive guizhou, snub-nosed monkey, a critically endangered primate seen only in this part of the world, living quietly in the shadowed canopies of Fanjing's ancient trees. But Fanjing's magic goes beyond biology. It is steeped in deep spiritual resonance. Revered for centuries by Buddhists, the mountain is believed to be the sacred site where Maitreya, the future Buddha, achieved enlightenment. For devotees, a pilgrimage to Mount Fanjing is not merely a journey of steps and stone, but a profound inner passage, a search for balance, clarity, and transcendence. Perhaps nowhere is the spiritual symbolism of Fanjing more powerful than at its most iconic landmark, a pair of temples, the Temple of the Buddha and the Temple of Maitreya, that sit like silent sentinels atop two jagged peaks, split by a sheer chasm and connected only by a narrow stone bridge that arches between the cliffs. Reaching these sacred structures requires ascending thousands of steep steps, clinging to the side of the mountain as the world drops away beneath you. Pilgrims often climb in silence, their breath sinking with the wind, their thoughts rising with each step, until finally they reach the top, where stone meets sky and the silence is deeper than prayer. From this windswept summit, the view is ethereal, a seemingly endless sea of clouds, peaks piercing like islands from a dreamscape, and the ancient land of southwest China stretching away into mystery. At dawn and dusk, the mountain glows with a soft golden hue, and for a few fleeting moments, the line between the physical and the divine feels paper-thin. Fanjing is also a place of myth, its name derived from Fantianjing Tu, meaning the Buddhist Pure Land of Fantian. Mount Emei, rising majestically to 10,167 feet above sea level in China's Sichuan province. Mount Emei is not only a geographical marvel, but also a profound spiritual sanctuary, revered as one of the four sacred Buddhist mountains of China. Known as Emei Shan in Chinese, this sacred peak has stood for millennia as a bridge between heaven and earth, drawing not just pilgrims, but poets, monks, adventurers, and seekers of wisdom from all corners of the world. From the moment one sets foot on its lower slopes, Mount Emei reveals its mystical essence. Ancient stone paths meander through dense, primeval forests rich with towering pines, fragrant firs, and rare flora found nowhere else on Earth. The air is cool, heavy with mist, and charged with a sense of timeless stillness. Waterfalls cascade down moss-covered cliffs, their gentle roar accompanying the rustling of bamboo leaves and the distant call of sacred monkeys that have made this mountain their home. But it's not just the mountain's natural beauty that makes it unforgettable. It is the deep spiritual presence that permeates every inch of its terrain. Dozens of temples, some dating back more than 1,000 years, are nestled along the winding mountain trails, each with its own story, sacred relics, and unique architectural style. Among them, the Baogu Temple, the Wangxian Temple, and the Lane Temple are places where incense smoke drifts endlessly into the mist, and the rhythmic sounds of Buddhist chants echo softly through ancient stone halls. At the heart of Mount Emei's mystique is the legendary Golden Summit, Jinding, a revered spot where the sky seems to touch the earth. On clear mornings, this peak offers a panoramic view above the clouds, where one can witness the famed Cloud Sea, a breathtaking spectacle of mist and sunlight swirling below. On rare occasions, visitors may see the Buddhist halo, a natural phenomenon where the sun creates a glowing circular rainbow around the viewer's shadow, often interpreted as a divine sign of enlightenment or cosmic blessing. The summit also houses the giant golden statue of Samantabhadra, Puxian Bodhisattva, riding a six-tusked white elephant, a symbol of wisdom and spiritual power. At sunrise or sunset, this statue glows with a divine radiance, casting long shadows over the stone terraces and filling the hearts of onlookers with awe. Mount Emei is also a haven for wildlife and biodiversity, home to over 3,000 plant species and hundreds of rare animals, many of which are endemic to the region. It's no wonder that UNESCO recognized Mount Emei as a World Heritage Site, not just for its cultural importance, but for its ecological significance as well. Wangxian Valley, hidden deep within China's lesser-traveled mountains, where the wind moves softly through pine and plum, lies a place almost forgotten by time. Wangxian Valley, a landscape so serene it feels like a whisper from another world, meaning watching immortals. The name itself conjures images of ancient sages perched on craggy peaks, gazing toward the heavens in silent meditation. The valley is a living poem. Mist drapes the limestone cliffs each morning like a veil, and as the sunlight breaks through, the air glows with a silver softness that feels sacred. Ribbons of water cascade down mossy rocks, carving gentle paths through emerald glades and shaded bamboo groves. The sound of flowing streams and birdsong becomes the valley's only music, a natural symphony of stillness. Wangxian Valley isn't loud in its beauty. It is subtle, deliberate, and wise. Stone-paved trails wind quietly through the forest, inviting visitors to wander, not race. Along the way, wooden pavilions and tea huts nestle between trees like secrets, built in harmony with the land, not in dominance of it. Their roofs are often tipped with fallen blossoms, their timbers worn smooth by time and weather. Places to rest, to reflect, to listen. In spring, cherry blossoms flutter across the sky like snowflakes caught in a warm breeze, and their petals float on the water like prayers unspoken. Come autumn, the leaves turn golden and copper, falling so gently it's as if the earth itself is exhaling. In winter, a hush descends. The valley sleeps beneath a blanket of frost, and the world feels paused, perfectly still. Legends say that those who enter with a quiet heart may glimpse the shadow of an immortal or hear their laughter echoing in the rustling trees. Whether truth or tale, the valley carries an undeniable spiritual presence. Monks once meditated here, drawn by the valley's natural rhythm, believing that enlightenment required not struggle, but silence. Today, Wangxian Valley is a sanctuary for the modern soul. Artists, poets, healers, and wanderers alike come here not for spectacle, but for stillness. It's a place that invites you to slow down, to breathe deeper, and to remember who you are beneath the noise. There's no Wi-Fi, no schedules, just the steady unfolding of nature's wisdom, moment by moment. To visit Wangxian is not simply to travel. It is to step between worlds, one foot in the present, the other in something eternal. Here, you don't just watch the immortals, you feel for a moment as if you've joined them. Phoenix Ancient Town, tucked away in the misty embrace of Hunan Province, with a mountain slope gently down to meet the tranquil Taojiang River, lies one of China's most enchanting cultural treasures, Phoenix Ancient Town, Fenghuang. It is a place where time drifts slowly, like the river that winds through its heart, and where history lingers in every creaking floorboard, flickering lantern, and moss-covered stone. At first glance, the town feels like a scene from a dream. Elegant wooden stilt houses, built centuries ago by the Tujia and Miao ethnic minorities, stretch in rhythmic rows along the riverbanks. Their sloping tiled roofs and carved balconies lean out over the water as though eavesdropping on the river's eternal murmur. Stone arch bridges rise gracefully from the mist, connecting both sides of the town like delicate threads of silk, while red lanterns sway gently in the breeze, casting a soft glow at twilight. Phoenix Ancient Town is more than beautiful. It is alive with stories. Step onto its weathered, cobbled streets, and you're walking in the footsteps of poets, scholars, and revolutionaries. One of China's most revered literary figures, Sun Conwen, was born here, and echoes of his works still resonate through the town's quiet corners. The architecture reflects a blend of Han, Miao, and Tujia influences, from the intricate wooden carvings to the solemn ancestral halls, each preserving the layers of history that shaped this magical place. In autumn, the town transforms into a living canvas. Fiery leaves flutter down like confetti from the trees lining the river, and the golden glow of the season casts Phoenix in a new, nostalgic light. Artists find endless inspiration here, capturing the interplay of light and shadow, reflection and reality that dances across the water surface. But perhaps the town's deepest charm lies in its spiritual essence. Legend tells of a celestial phoenix, a mythical bird of fire and rebirth, which once soared over the town and chose it as a resting place. It is said that this sacred creature still watches over Phoenix, its spirit woven into the river mists that rise each morning. At dawn, when the world is quietest, locals and visitors alike speak of a feeling, an inexplicable sense of peace, as if the town itself is holding its breath in reverence. As night falls, the river glows under soft lantern light, and the melodies of folk songs float from wooden houses and hidden tea shops. The scent of incense mingles with that of sweet rice wine, and the past and present blur into something timeless. Here, life moves gently. There is no rush, only rhythm. Phoenix Ancient Town is not just a destination. It is a sanctuary for the soul, a refuge for those weary of noise and speed. It invites you to wander, to wonder, and to listen, not just to its stories, but to your own inner voice, stirred by the serenity of a place untouched by time. Whether you come seeking romance, reflection, or quiet inspiration, this ancient town welcomes you with open arms and the soft rustle of feathers in the wind. For in Phoenix, beauty is not just seen, it is felt. Longmen Grotto, carved with unwavering devotion into the sheer limestone cliffs flanking the Yi River. The Longmen Grotto is more than a marvel of ancient craftsmanship. It is a monumental hymn in stone, sung in silence across centuries. Stretching nearly a mile along both riverbanks, this sacred site is one of China's greatest artistic and spiritual legacies, with over 100,000 Buddha statues, 2,800 inscriptions, and 2,300 caves and niches, each bearing witness to a civilization's yearning for the divine. Some of these figures tower over 55 feet, their gazes cast eternally toward the horizon in quiet omniscience. Others are no larger than a thumb, yet still carved with a level of detail that speaks to the care and reverence of their creators. The scale may differ, but the purpose does not. Every face, gesture, and flowing robe is infused with spiritual intention, meant to inspire reflection, protection, and peace. As the sunlight dances across the carvings, shadows fall gently into their grooves, animating the once still stone. It feels as if the Buddhas are breathing, watching, waiting, offering calm to every soul who passes beneath their gaze. Time slows here. The rushing modern world fades away. All that remains is stone, light, and spirit. The natural setting adds its own sacred poetry. Below, the Yi River winds in serenity, its cool waters mirroring the timeless stillness of the statues above. The contrast between flowing water and solid stone, between impermanence and permanence, reflects a Buddhist view of life itself. Nature and human devotion meet in perfect balance. Stepping into one of the grottos, you're enveloped by a cool hush, a womb-like stillness that invites reverence. You hear the echo of your footsteps, the distant bird song, the soft whisper of the wind funneling through ancient corridors. These aren't just caves. They are cathedrals of silence, carved for meditation, prayer, and transcendence. The origins of Longmen trace back to the Northern Wei dynasty in the 5th century and continued into the Tang dynasty, when the site reached its artistic zenith. Emperors, nobles, and monks commissioned these carvings not as mere monuments, but as acts of devotion, believing each chisel stroke would bring prosperity, wisdom, and karmic merit, not just for themselves, but for the nation. One of the most breathtaking sights is the Wangxian Temple, where the colossal Vairocana Buddha sits flanked by heavenly guardians and bodhisattvas. With a gentle smile and half-closed eyes, the Buddha exudes a transcendent serenity, neither distant nor earthly, but firmly in both realms at once. Hukou Waterfall, where the mighty Yellow River, often called the cradle of Chinese civilization, narrows into a fierce, thunderous gorge, lies one of China's most dramatic natural wonders, Hukou Waterfall. Unlike any other waterfall in the world, Hukou doesn't simply fall, it erupts. The tranquil flow of the Yellow River is suddenly squeezed into a rocky bottleneck, plunging nearly 66 feet into a boiling, bronze cauldron of spray and sound. At just 98 feet wide, the narrow canyon creates an optical illusion. It looks as though the river is being poured from a giant teapot, giving the waterfall its name, Hukou, or kettle spout. The waters churn with incredible fury, creating deafening roars, thick plumes of mist, and a shaking ground beneath your feet. You don't just see Hukou, you feel it in your chest, in your bones, in the vibrating air around you. During the rainy season, the river swells with power, and the waterfall transforms into something almost otherworldly. A thick, golden column of water rises like a living beast, crowned by rainbows and veiled in fog. The color of the water turns a deep ochre, tinted by the lush soil carried from far upstream. China's river of history now roaring with the voice of the past. But what makes Hukou truly unforgettable is not just its physical might. It's the stories carried in the current. For centuries, local myths have surrounded the falls. One tells of a celestial guardian, a water deity born from the chaos of the river, who once tamed floods and protected villagers from destruction. Even now, elders say that when the spray dances just right in the sunlight, you can glimpse the shadow of the river god watching from a mist. This is a place where history, legend, and geography collide. Generals once crossed here, battles were fought along its banks, and poets stood at the edge, writing verses to try to capture its wild majesty. To the Chinese people, Hukou is not just a tourist destination. It is a symbol of the country's enduring spirit, turbulent and unbreakable. Today, a winding path takes you close to the heart of the falls. You can feel the spray on your face, hear the crashing roar echo off the canyon walls, and stare into the tumult below, a reminder that some forces in the world are still gloriously untamed. To witness Hukou Waterfall is to witness the Yellow River unbound, a fierce, pulsing artery of China's soul, crashing through stone, story, and time. It is not simply a waterfall. It is an elemental encounter with nature's strength, with ancient myth, and with something timeless still flowing through the heart of the land.